see. Something's going to happen. Something wonderful.
My God, it's full of stars.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the NY Patriot Show. Technically really not the NY Patriot Show. I guess today will be Rejects and Friends. This is kind of basically more of the Occult Rejects type of show. Had the idea of like wanting to get other shows together that we've had on or that I have dealt with in the past and I'm close with, and getting people from our Element server to jump on, even to talk about something, to talk about a topic, just bullshit, ask questions, whatever. Want to jump in, say what's up, say hi, and then leave. That's cool, but something I wanted to start doing so then the people or the fans in our Element server actually have a chance to kind of jump on and actually kick it with me. And so this is going to be something new I'm doing. I will drop the StreamYard link at some point, probably in the chat, if there's anybody who wants to jump in the chat, and I will throw up a phone number that you can use for live call-ins. So hopefully it all goes well. We'll find out today. If it's a shit show, oh well, you got to watch it and laugh. But if not, hopefully it all goes well. And I'm done running my mouth. I'm going to introduce the people I have with me as of right now. I have Sean. Now, I'm sure, like I've said before, if you've watched or listened to my stuff, you have to know who this man is. But if you don't, Sean, would you like to tell everybody who you are and where they can find your amazing work?
Thank you. I am Sean McCann. I am a soul living in flesh, and I'm here in this world with all of you. So that's who I am. I am the host of and creator of a show titled Wake the Dead, and I've been doing that for like maybe almost 2 years now. And I've been in the scene with a lot of the really heady cats. I've gotten to know a lot of the people that also are content creators, and I finally created my own show. And now it feels like I was meant to do this, and I belong here. So I'm glad to share in the conversation and to express my ideas with everyone online. And I love how the feedback is I'm hearing from people, and I'm growing in my knowledge and my experience. So I'm infinitely grateful to be doing this, and I'm your friend, and I'm glad to be here with you today.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody can find my Wake the Dead on Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble. There's a few videos on YouTube, and you can also find the audio on Spotify, Google, Apple, all the podcasters. And I create shirts, t-shirts with anarchist-based designs, and you can find that at storefrontier.com/wakethedead. Thanks.
Very well. Thank you very much, sir. Definitely. You know what? Unfortunately, I don't know if I've even added any notes inside the YouTube now. But after the fact, I will add all his info. I have his T-shirt store links, and I have all his other stuff for sure. So I will add that in. Lee, the man, the myth, and legend. Would you like to plug yourself and let everybody know who you are? Again, another person that has to know who he is if they listened to my show before, but just in case. Are you there, Lee? Oh, I guess not. He just left.
The StreamYard sucks, man.
I know. You know what sucks? Doing it from your phone. That's what sucks.
It's tough to have no money and to be doing this.
Yeah. So we'll skip Lee. We'll get back to him. He's back now. Lee, you're back, sir.
Sorry, mate. I've just been out off again. It's probably the deep state after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's of course, yeah.
Well, we just got to you. Would you like to let everybody know who you are, your show, and maybe even like what your show's about or like the reason why you started it, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, nice one, mate. I generally host and create our Subconscious Realms. Instagram at subcon_realms33. Twitter is at subconrealms33. Email subconsciousrealms@gmail.com. And there's a few reasons why I started it, but mate, right? I fucking love everything. I love it all. The variety, the weirdness, just everything.
Well, I definitely have to say, even with your channel, you go from, like, I guess like me, or someone who covers occultism, and then you'll be talking about like Wendigos and Bigfoot. So you are actually a very wide range of topics. Definitely say that.
Yeah, I try to, mate, but I will say, I've said this before, my inspiration for everything I do is you, mate.
Oh, thank you. You better find somebody else.
You.
No.
You are, no, mate, you're a legend, mate.
Thank you. Well, I remember you as just a listener and somebody that used to hit me up all the time, so.
Yeah.
I remember all that, dude. Yeah. I remember that shit. I was like, yo, why don't you just start your own show? And here you are now. What, a year later?
Yeah. It's like a year now, isn't it? But yeah.
Very good, man.
Mate,
good for you.
Out of everybody in this community, to me, you are the fucking man.
You say that, but I have to say, when it comes to getting guests, you must have some slick fucking pen game.
Thank you, mate.
I'm like, this guy tells me who he's having on, and I'm like, yo, fuck him, man. I can't get this person to answer me.
I'm surprised you got Jan Irvin on your show, because that dude hates me vehemently.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, mate. He's brilliant.
He does it.
Yeah.
He probably didn't see that you've been on his show. I didn't know.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I'm sure
honestly,
he doesn't
Sean,
work
right?
that far.
Honestly, Sean, I was very surprised. It was me and Robert and Jan, and he fucking blew my mind. But a lot of people do.
Yeah.
There is a lot of
he's really got
quality individuals.
He's done a lot of good work.
Yeah.
His personality is what's, and well, I don't want to get into it, but he's done a lot of good work, and I don't mean to defame him at all.
Yeah.
He's a gentleman, and we just personally don't get along because of social media, and whatever.
Social media.
I was supposed to be on his show talking about school like maybe 5 years ago, and we were going to do the show, and then I saw him talking badly about veganism, and then he also talked badly. He tried to relate anarchy to Antichrist because of the way the words are spelled. I was like, dude, you're crazy. You're just crazy.
Yeah. That's not.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, he's a gentleman, but he's got some wrong ideas that I disagree with. But whatever. I don't mean to defame him.
Yeah, I get that, mate.
Yeah, but I'm glad you got him on there. That's a big name, and it got
Well, I'll tell you what, Sean.
Yeah.
Next time I get Jan on, I'd love you to come on.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk it out. I mean, I definitely won't. I won't talk about the veganism thing because, whatever. But
I think you should.
Yeah, maybe I should. You're right. I like you. You're good, man. Yeah. And
These are
also,
shit stories.
speaking of that, our good friend Julia from Cosmic Peach has invited me. She got Jay Wiedner on. Or she's going to have Jay Wiedner, and she's going to talk Kubrick with him. And she just happened to ask.
You got to have you on then.
She was like, hey, would you be my co-host? I was like, hell yeah, yay. I would have never got Jay Wiedner. I would have never thought of that. So I would have never thought that he would be, wanted to talk to anybody like us. But, you just reach out and ask, and people are gracious, and so it's all good. It's good to ask at least,
Well,
so I'm excited to talk Kubrick next week.
I was going to say, Sean, if somebody wants to talk about Kubrick, you're the man, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys recognize that, because forever, I try to talk to people and they're like, yeah, whatever, Sean. Okay.
Do you like Kubrick, Sean?
Yeah.
No.
Like him, mate.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, if nobody has, again, I'm sure you've heard of him before. If you haven't heard of Sean McCann show, Wake the Dead, and you're into Stanley Kubrick, definitely go check out his stuff on Eyes Wide Open, because it'll blow your brain wide open after you're done watching his shit.
Yeah. The Eyes Wide Shut thing was.
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, like because I always talk about it, and like I would make posts on Facebook and stuff. One of my good friends an anarchist online, his name is Brandon Martin, who does a lot of great work in his own right. He has this conference called Seed, and he invited me to make a presentation. He was like, talk about whatever you want. And I was like, oh, well, I've been thinking about this thing, and it like made me focus it and turn it into a thing. And then I had this finished product, and, it's continue. And it's just, the ideas expand, and I keep learning more. I'm still adding to it, I guess, but it's great because then it focused me, and it got me to turn an idea into a presentation, and now that helped me to make better shows and to refine my thoughts into a more easily acceptable for people's ears, really helped me instead of just winding on and on, because I'll go on and on. You guys got to jump in. But I mean, if I I'll
you even said yourself on
little thing.
You even said yourself on our show. I can't remember what it was. It might have been like your second or third time on the Occult Rejects. You even said on your own on the show, and I was like, "Yo, this fucking guy is great." He's like, "I'm the king of getting off topic, so you might have to cut me off."
Yeah,
and I was like, "At least he knows it. That makes that's fucking awesome."
Yeah, man, and I'm doing my best to not interrupt people.
The thing is, though, is that
problem I have.
You will take something and actually draw a conclusion. You'll take it all the way from Stanley Kubrick to Mars Volta, and it will make sense. It's just that it took 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah. It's roundabout, but if you can follow me, then you'll absorb something. There's
for sure.
Some information in there. It rattles out of me. So yeah, and it's great that it helps me to focus, and I encourage everybody else. If you have an idea that you're rambling on about and that nobody wants to listen to you, make a thing, do a thing, make a video, make a audio, have it. It's great because when you want to give somebody that whole idea that takes 2 hours to explain, you can just give them a link. Hey, if you have time, watch this. And this is what I'm talking about. And it's easy for you too, because then it's off your chest and you don't have to talk about it anymore. It's all done, move on to the next thing. It's really, it's a good exercise.
And before we forget, this really is the whole reason why I'm even trying to do this. We have Synthetic Psyop. He's 1/3 of the supernal triad that created our element server. we got him at I'll give him Kether, and then we get because then it's two women. No,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So we have Synthetic Psyop and Helen and Asha. We're both really kind of the people who put together the whole element server thing in itself. And I can't thank you all enough. And Synthetic was willing to come on, and hopefully, with his job permitting, he will be coming on, making cameo appearances on the show in the future.
I can.
Yes, when he can. So, Synthetic, would you like to say what's up? And maybe just, I know you said you have a few things you could plug, and just let everybody know who you are in the Element server, too. Because
1/3 of the admin team of the Element server. We built the place. We maintain the rooms. You can find me. I have a BitChute channel with a couple videos, Synthetic _ Psyop, and happy to be here. This will be my 3rd time with NY, so this is cool.
Good. No, thank you for
good to be here with you, Psyop, because I talk with you on the server all the time, and we talked on the Telegram or on the the Discord
Discord. Yep.
And you got a lot to add. You have a lot of thoughts, and you can hang with the big boys. I want you to be. I'm glad that you're here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Oh hell yeah. Oh Lee, are you able to unmute yourself after I mute you?
I've just done it now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. All right, so if you see that it's muted, just...
Well, you muted me.
Oh, well, I mute you because you were making noise. But that's good to know. So in the future, when you decide doing the dishes and we're recording, I'm going to mute you and you can unmute yourself when you're done.
Oh,
so
mate,
that's good to...
I don't do them now, mate. I'm above that.
No, because there's been times where I've muted you and forgot and left you muted for 10 minutes and felt like a dick afterwards. So at least I know you can unmute yourself when you're all done.
Sound mate, no problem.
That was like recently too. I felt so bad. I was like, yo, fuck, I forgot I needed to leave. And that was like 15 minutes ago. This guy's tried to say anything.
Okay, I know.
So, Synthetic, you did mention, and I mean, you said you wanted to maybe mention something kind of, quick, but I mean, honestly, I think this dude or this topic, I mean, we could go on forever about him, but you did mention something about kind of Elon Musk.
Yeah, I have a mini rant here.
Yeah, well, that rant could turn into an 1.5-hour episode with this guy, so.
That sounds great. That sounds great. I want to hear it.
One thing about Elon. So I was always a NASA nerd growing up. And there's a prominent, he was a Nazi who was brought under Project Paperclip and became the head of NASA. That's Werner von Braun. He wrote a fiction book, and it's called Project Mars, I believe, A Technical Tale. And one of the interesting things there is, it was in 1953. The leader of the Martian government, the rank essentially, is called Elon.
Wait, the Martian government, like, all right, in the book, Mars has a government, and the guy's name is Elon?
Well, no, it's like a rank, like colonel or general.
Oh, okay, all right.
So that's always stuck in the back of my mind. And I just see Elon with, it's about free speech and this and that. Well, not if your name is Alex Jones or David Icke, apparently. So I do not believe that this has anything to do with free speech or personal liberties or anything like that. My theory is he's going to try and turn it into sort of like WeChat has in China.
That's already proven. They already said that.
Oh, really?
Yep. He wants to make it WeChat. To me. And WeChat is digital surveillance. It's got your medical, it's got your financial, it's got your social. Everything is on WeChat. In South America, that's how they talk to each other. Like they do through the text, so that they don't have to pay for the phone bill. It's slavery. That. It's digital slavery.
Yeah. Hasn't he actually verbally said that on an interview?
Yes.
Or at least posted something about it? Somebody showed me that shit. And they're like, yo, WeChat is fucked up. And I was like, I was too busy doing my own thing. I didn't really look into WeChat. But I had multiple listeners send me stuff about him and WeChat, even saying, you're right, this dude's fucked up.
Yeah.
So that's not good, huh?
Definitely. I mean, with Musk, it's like he's one of those people who like could talk it, but he's like he couldn't drive a pig with a stick. That kind of a person.
Well, no, he drives them with chips in their brains now.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think that his image is created on purpose to be this way?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Right. He's like Trump. He's like he's the steam valve that releases, where the people, they're gonna revolt. Oh no, we got this leader guy. We'll do what he says. Kind of the same. Like I see that. He's saying all the right things. Oh, free speech. Oh, everybody gets a blue check mark. Oh, we're all equal. But really,
it's like Oprah.
It's flypaper. It's gonna stick you into it. And then once you're in, you're good. You love, he brought back Trump. Trump's on there now on Twitter. That's the flypaper. Like that is flypaper, man.
But he said
stuck in that
straight up no. When he had mentioned something about bringing back people to Twitter, I mean, it could have even have been like, I think he did a vote for Trump, right, or something like that. Somebody did question him. What about Alex Jones? And most of the time, these big accounts, they don't fucking answer people.
Right.
He answered him straight up no.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not.
How is this free speech? Because the reason he got banned was just a video of him fucking just calling people names.
Right. Yeah.
And being the devil's champion, that is not only an occult mockery to us, but it's also like there are factions of the dark occult which are jockeying for power, right? So this is him giving a big F you to everybody, saying, I'm the next guy. I'm going to push Satan's will better than all of you. and I'm gonna be put on top. He says, the devil. He's the champion of technocracy, of the digital slave grid technocracy, and also he's teaching people that it's okay to have a brain chip. That's a good idea, because if we don't, then the machines are going to kill us all.
Yo,
Like,
I remember
what kind of fear scenario wow.
Who did he just meet with? Who did he just have an audience with and bring his children to see? The Pope.
Oh, God.
And if we go back, what was he promoting? Dogecoin, so cryptocurrency.
Right. And he's started PayPal. He was a big part of PayPal.
PayPal.
Yes, I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah. And that, PayPal is the only way it's the only way that I can get donations. I don't have like a digital Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. And so like when PayPal does that $2,500 fine and then everybody quits PayPal, people like James Corbett and like James Evan Pilato, these people, they end up losing their customers that were paying every month, and and now they, like, everybody rage quits, and then it's like, in a sense, it's taking money away from all of the Alex Joneses out there, you know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, sorry guys, we're not going to do that, and then they put it back in. They're like, yeah, we're doing it. Okay, pushing the boot on the neck, like the boot stamping a face forever, like 1984. Like that's what they're doing. That's the future.
Damn.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Wah, wah. Let me tell you about
Love
cat
that, Sean.
Debbie Downer.
I remember specifically, and I was just like, like it's just weird to me how, like, you could say something and, like, people will, like, hear, I guess, the cool part but not realize what he said prior to it. But, like, I have seen him say, and I think it might have had to do with sticking the thing in the pig's brain. The thing in
monkey.
Susan. I think the pig
He had
Susan
a
or whatever
monkey
it
that
was.
plays video games with his head.
He said
Neuralink, yeah.
that
Yeah.
he's going to use this stuff to be able to fight the bad AI in the future.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, look at that. That's so great. But it's like, wait. The bad AI in the future. Oh, are we
Like
just
it's inevitable.
like we forgot, like we just
Disturbing.
left that out and not wondering when and where is that coming from that we have to battle.
Right.
We're just happy about the chips he's going to bring us to save us from something that shouldn't even exist.
And they seeded that idea on the Rogan when he was on Rogan about evil AI. AI is only as evil as the programmers who are putting all those if-then statements in there.
Exactly.
I work in IT. People have a real misunderstanding of AI and
There is no
cloud.
such thing as real AI. They
You know,
don't
if
actually
you-
think.
Right.
Since
They
you know
don't
this stuff,
create.
Eric, you just said now that if then, is there like stuff in there where you can actually give AI, I wouldn't say a sense of free will, but a little bit more of an open area to where if this happens, I can choose within a certain parameter of how I want to respond. Is that doable? Or does it have to just pick like what it's set to do? Or could you be given like multiple options and it can just...
That exactly there. There could be multiple outcomes. Think of it like, the stoplight with the pressure pad. That's a form of artificial intelligence. And before the term AI was everywhere, it was called expert systems. So if you pull up on the pressure pad, it knows there's a car there, so it starts the timer to change the light. AI will work basically in all of these ways, just on a far more complex level. Programming an AI to beat you at checkers, let's say, that AI is never going to learn to fly a plane, from my opinion. It's all just smoke and mirrors.
And it's never going to have consciousness like, I am aware and awake and I can think with my own free will. Like, that's that's as silly as of the idea that, we can just transfer our soul into a computer and live forever. These people are deluded, and they're materialist, they're atheist, they're basically spiritually retarded, and they can't conceptualize like the reality of what we're living in. So they have to come up with these imaginary, we'll just have consciousness, we'll just put it on a disc and we'll just always be there, like exactly what Helena says here, Terminator. And that Skynet is all that that again was seeded into the consciousness. Hollywood does that, so it's the same shit. And for Elon to talk on Joe Rogan as if it's inevitable, that's because we've been programmed for 20 years since Terminator that it is inevitable, and like in the movie they're like, in 1996 it's going down, and they're like, yeah, whatever, crazy person. And it was inevitable in the movie. It happened, like nothing you could do. Like that's what they're seeding that into us, so that we won't fight because, oh, it's inevitable. We'll just, it's learned helplessness. That's what they want from us, to sit on our hands and to just believe, But I will never believe that AI can be a real thinking soul on its own. Like, that's so silly. And even dumber, like, oh, I can transfer my soul into another thing and be a hologram. Like, people are stupid.
I don't think there's a way of actually really having an idea of self in AI.
Exactly.
And that's what I think is the whole difference between us and that. We are conscious of ourselves.
Exactly.
Because when you're conscious of yourself, then you'll realize, well, if I don't want to do that to myself, I don't want to do that to somebody else.
Exactly.
AI is just like, just do whatever, what I'm told.
Right. It's only programmed with the agency. It doesn't have, free will thought. And, like that is another example of the proof that we are a soul. And, if they can't replicate it, they should realize that atheism is wrong. Like, if they can't make a inanimate object, they've been trying forever. A golem is a thing in the occult that they've been trying to do forever. Crowley was raping people violently in their asshole, trying to make a fucking, I'm saying, like, trying to.
No, I have often wondered if AI
trying to make.
I've often wondered if AI and golems are
same.
Yes,
it's a robot,
I have
right?
That, yeah.
And they want to make us robots. Like a robot, the word robot means slave. So like they want us to be robots too. And if they can't control us, because they can't, we have free will. They can't. So they have to make they have to create all of these illusions to make us choose to go along with it, because they need us to consent. But if they didn't need us to consent like robots, dude, it'd be all Satanism all the time. Like, we are protected by our own free will. That's what keeps us free, really, especially in the aggregate.
Free will gives you the option to go for the freedom.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or the option to be a fucking slave. But yeah.
Or that too. You can choose to be a slave too, right? Yeah. And a lot of people want to argue with me about like, some people think free will doesn't exist. These people are crazy, but they want to say that, no one chooses to be like victimized by others or whatever. But the other person chose to be the dominator, you know what I mean? And with strength, so like it is a free will scenario, and you have the choice to let them kill you, or to try to run, or to fight. You know what I mean? You always have a choice. And even the slaves that were in the chains in the South of America, and when there was, slavery on the plantations, those people could have chosen to not follow orders also. They always have the choice, because they're the ones that move their arms. I talked about it on Lee's show.
Yes, man.
Like, you can't make somebody do something. They have to choose it. So like,
there's always a choice, Sean, isn't there? There's always a choice.
Like the whips and the chains just make you choose. Just they help to influence your decision, but really we can always choose to die. We can choose
manipulation. Manipulation.
Right.
That's what it is.
I mean, if you even want to play the other side, and this can sound a little fucked up, or maybe people may not agree, but listen, I know to a certain extent, if you're victimized or something, like if someone enforced their will onto you and you're still alive and whatever after the fact, I mean, to an extent, yes, things I do believe will fuck you up mentally, and it just takes time. I do understand that. But after a point, after a while, if you're still playing the victim, that is your choice to get stuck in that past moment.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but at some point, you do have the options to let that go and to not let it define who you are anymore.
Some people like to be victim. You know,
Oh.
they think there's power in it.
That's true, that, mate. True.
I knew people. It's like almost playing the victim and then boasting about how great you are. I mean, just from people that I knew. I mean, I admit it. I'm not proud of it. I did time in federal prison. I know people that did time with and that I've still seen after the fact, and it's like they wear that shit as a badge of honor. Oh yeah, I went through prison and I dealt with that. Like playing like it was so rough and hard, but like I'm like, but like that a couple of years fuck up.
It's like waiting for a bus.
Does not define.
It just takes a long time.
It does not define who the fuck you are anymore, bro. Like, why are you still letting that 2 years?
No, of course.
Yeah.
And if they stay in that consciousness, when
they're gonna come back.
They're gonna go do a crime. Go right back. They're only doing the crime to go back to jail. Like like when I was there were people. There was a dude that had $100 bail, and it was because it was cold outside. He didn't want to go. He wanted to get free food, and so he just never paid. And they kept, and the amount of money that the state had to pay to keep him there was way more than $100, But it's a system where they make money off of the slavery of others and putting people in cages. It's sick what our culture, what the consciousness of humanity does.
I was in just real quick, and then we'll move back on to Elon because there was something I wanted to bring up that you had mentioned. You're saying something about it could be getting cold outside. Maybe the winter's coming. Maybe homeless people. It's kind of a little bit more of a struggle. When I was going through, I had a federal case, and I live in New York. And when it happened in Nebraska. So unfortunately, I had to fly to Nebraska for my court case because that's where the crime took place. And so when I got sentenced in Nebraska, and I don't think, or at least where that court was, there is no federal holdover anywhere near there. So over in Council Bluffs, fucking meth haven of, I think, Iowa, they have a prison, a county jail there that they will house federal inmates in transition.
That's how it works. Most federal inmates, they get moved around to the county because I was in county and I was friends with people that are federal prisoners.
Dude, I got bounced around. There's so many fucking places within they
do that on purpose so that you never get any friends and nobody can ever visit you. It's more torture.
They call it something like Con Air therapy or some shit like that. They call it.
But when you get off the plane, you're not like Nick Cage in The Wind. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, another one of these.
I will tell you the truth though, and then I'll finish what I had to say. I will tell you the truth though. When you see that shit on TV and you see those motherfuckers getting off the plane and there's literally people with guns around you, that's real. Because I remember getting off the plane and you're handcuffed to somebody.
You're
your
like,
fucking
your
legs you're all
your arms. They have the cuffs have the thing in between, so you can't even.
The box.
The box. Yeah,
dude. And
that was invented by an inmate, I believe, at Statesville Prison. I'm in Illinois, so some inmate invented that.
Wow.
But what I was
Stockholm
saying,
syndrome. Retard.
Yeah, no shit.
But when I had gotten to Iowa. That's a county jail. So, I mean, anything, the smallest shit could be there. And there was a few people that actually said, it is a thing that they do. They will go and, fucking steal something for $5 out of a store.
Yeah.
Something stupid. Or you go steal a beer and then try to drink it as they get busted or whatever. Get arrested and then go sit in county jail for 2 weeks and clean up, get food, and get your shit together and then go back out when it's a little bit warmer. And I was like, yo, people do this.
If people have toothache or they got a medical problem or something,
you go in there and get free fucking medical.
Yeah, you get free medical. It's like jail. The way the jails are set up and even the military is socialism.
Yes.
Definitely.
Straight up socialism. So. And if you look at it, it's very similar to socialism because everybody's in a cage and have to do what they're told.
No, you're very right. And you know what the funny thing is too is. And then again, like I said, I'll get back to what we were saying. That's a really good point because I've even said from my experience being in prison, once I got in there, the prisoners actually, in my opinion, made the prison worse than the CEOs themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just very and look at how the world is now, how everybody's enforcing and protesting and rioting and telling you how to fucking be. you'll have the same thing done in its own way in fucking prison. You'll be told this is how you got to act if you're going to hang out with us. This is the way you're going to act if you're going to hang out with them. It's like, yo, what all it is little separate factions of fascism
Gangs.
that they call cars or whatever they want to call them in federal prison.
Yeah,
So
when,
what the fuck?
like I got in a fight with a Puerto Rican dude over candy bars because I wouldn't like give him candy bars or some shit, and he wanted to fight, so I fought. And
Oh, good for
and
you.
then
Fuck that. I don't
the
give him
whites
your shit.
and the Puerto Ricans had to have a conference about it to make sure that there wasn't going to be some race war on the block.
Yeah, they both had
because-
to agree that it was okay.
Yeah,
Which blows
and
my
the-
mind because I don't know how the white people were like, oh, yeah, it's okay if you strong arm our friends. Or our
Well,
people.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like,
been like,
we had
fuck
to, like
you,
they
no.
had to make a truce over it because, like, whatever, because I'm white, and the white dudes were mad that my friend was black. Like, I would hang out with a black dude, and like they were like, dude, you can't do that. I'm like, fuck you. You know, it was we had trouble
Isn't
all
that
around. Like nobody got along with me.
Yo, you could go into jail for a while and be not racist and come out and be racist.
Oh, I know.
Due to the prisoners telling you how to act.
And it keeps you protected to be in a gang.
No, I
so,
get
like,
that. Yeah, I get that.
Well, look how they divide it. It's like if you go into, if you're incarcerated, it's like they break it down by race and then break it down by gang and then, race, color, creed kind of thing.
Right.
It's just like it
Yeah,
subdivides over and over and over.
And we can never be powerful because we're always divided and fighting each other.
Exactly.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah. That was even like in federal prison. It's like, all right, first off, it's like white and black and whatever other races. You got to prove to them with your paper. Like that's another thing that I thought was fucked up with federal prison. If you're white, you are already considered guilty of either being a child molester or a rat. Until you come out, and it can take a while, unless you're lucky and your court paperwork hasn't been fucked off during, going from place to place. If they actually let you hold on to it, half the time they'll throw it out and be like, nah, you can't take anything with you. So you have no proof of why you were even there. That could take a couple of weeks to get from the fucking counselor's office in your place. So for those few weeks, everybody's like questioning you. Did he fuck a kid? Is he a fucking rat? Because I'm white. Because I'm white. That's who I am until I'm shown.
That they have to have paperwork if you turn state's evidence and are a snitch.
Oh,
then there is a paper trail, and any lawyer can get that. So when I was one of the kids that I knew from my hometown had some personal beef with me, and he called me a snitch, and I didn't fight him because he's 300 pounds and huge, and I know the guy, and I'm like, what the fuck? And they cornered me in a room, and there was another dude watching the door, they were gonna beat me down, and then I was like, fuck you, and I walked away, and they didn't beat me or whatever, and I went to my cell, and there was the leader of the Nietas of the Puerto Rican gang. I was just complaining. I was like, motherfucker called me a snitch, and he's like, and you didn't hit him? I was like, no. And then he ran in there and he started screaming at him. He's like, you can't say that unless you have papers. So that's it. There's laws in there. You can't even call somebody a snitch, and there's always a paper trail with the lawyers and shit.
Oh,
that's a real bird walk. I'm sorry, but that's that's legit. That's the truth of how the rules and shit. And
I had to
would
get
like
my
talk
lawyer to
Ron
send in shit.
And because he works for prisons, and I would like to really talk to him on my show. If he's listening, send me an email, brother. Anyway, I do. My wife.
Send the email.
Yeah, because I want to learn more about the psychology of the prison keepers, the COs, and the people in prison. Because while I was there, I was oh shit! Here, excuse me, 1 second.
Not a problem. Yeah, I remember when what I was saying, when I went into prison, I had basically, you are guilty until you prove that you're innocent. And I literally and to wait for the fucking people in the prison to give me the paperwork I wanted, I called up my lawyer and I was like, yo, can you just send me the minutes and the fucking info on my case? And I got that faster in the mail. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you one, I was, when I went onto the regular block, after the new man where they keep you 23-hour lockdown and shit. I was on the main block and they had like 4 TVs. It was like hell, dude. I walked in, 3 of the TVs were wrestling, and then the last one was the Spanish channel. And like my room was under the TV of the Spanish channel. So like I look out and all the Spanish dudes are like looking right above my door. And like I'd be in there reading a book and it'd be like, 7 or 8 in the morning, early. And like I look out and there's the biggest, burliest Puerto Rican dudes, and they're like eating cereal, watching Full House. I'm like, dude, they're little children inside of these big men, and like they can't take care of themselves. That's why they're in jail. They need to, like, it's like Saturday morning cartoons. They're watching the fucking Olsen twins, dude. Like, whoa. So like it was a learning experience for me to be there and to learn about the psychology of these people. And like it would be good to learn more from a CO like Ron. I'd like to talk to him.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would be really interested in
hearing that, mate.
Yeah, that's funny. I have to say honestly, like, at some point, I guess, it depends on the person too. But like, I guess for me, I had realized I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna be around my friends and family like for 2 years or 2 to 3. Like I was able to get that and accept that right away. So like, I guess all the fucking emotions that comes with that makes jail suck. I really didn't have that too much. I think what happened eventually, it's like for me, I realized and was like, fuck, I gotta live with these motherfuckers for the next 2 to 3.
I know, you're stuck with them.
I'm like, no, this
as bad
is
as
hard.
like the other people in real life, and you look around and they're all got, Trump sign here, Biden there, like, oh god, idiots. Like,
yeah.
Man, I'm sorry, but I gotta go.
You gotta go. Okay.
But I'm glad that the rest of you can carry on. And
that was great.
Much love. It was great to meet you, Psyop, and Lee. Good to talk to you again. And,
Sean, I love you, mate.
Love your work.
Brother. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll speak to you soon, pal.
Awesome. Cheers, and thank you, Patriot. And
yeah, for sure.
I'll talk to you again soon.
Of course, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right, later.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Yeah, so and if people didn't hear it in the beginning, go to I will put his links in the bottom. Go definitely check out his show.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
So I guess I'll get back to what I wanted to bring up. I'm sure you've probably heard it, Eric. I'd be surprised if you hadn't. I think it was on the Joe Rogan show too. Sean had reminded me about it when he mentioned Joe Rogan. Was that the show when Elon even comes out and says that that AI is like the magician standing in the circle with the cup of water in his hand and the wand in the other, thinking he's controlling the demon, but he's really not. The demon's controlling him. I'm like, he just came out and said that that's what AI is, and like everybody still thinks that him fucking with AI is like a great idea, and I was like, but he just told us what it is.
Yeah. I think that was the episode. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about AI, but I think how it's going to go is that's going to be governance, and the code will be the law, and crypto is how they basically tax you and trace you at every aspect of everything you do. It's happening before our very eyes. I can see it more and more every day.
Yeah.
I like how you said that, and the code will be the law.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I have to take those. Remember when Crowley spits out that shit in the book?
Yeah, in the book of the law.
You got to throw that in and see if maybe somehow it's the code to Elon.
Every man and woman in the Internet of Things and on the blockchain. It's common. It's common.
I had mentioned it recently. I don't know how it came up. I think with music or whatever. I had a friend who was in the OTO. He left around the same time as me, and he made music and beats and shit. Maybe cool. You even understand, might even kind of know of this, but like he told me he had a program where I think you could take like certain shapes and then like kind of like make like design the wave in there and then see what it sounds like. He says it was really weird. He said you could take. There was like you could take something and then I think turn it into like some sort of form of like picture and then drag that into it and it will copy that. He said you could legit take sigils and throw it into this audio program, and we'll create the sound of what that sigil would be in, I guess, a sound wave.
I've actually done that. So it's a plugin for FL Studio where you can take it doesn't work great. It doesn't sound great.
Oh, that's what he said too. He says you'll get some wild shit. He says, but you can do that.
You can take like a JPEG, and then you can load that into the plugin, and then play that sound back on the keyboard, whatever it generates based on the image. So it's color and shape and things like that. But yeah, that does exist. It just doesn't work as good as you'd think, but yeah.
I had someone send me something recently. Now, I don't know if it was their opinion or someone's post. I get confused with all the stuff that I get in Instagram. But someone had sent me something, I think, saying that the guy from Foo Fighters that died or something. There's a song, I can't remember what song it is now, but supposedly they were telling me that that one of their songs, if you were to look at the wavelength, that you actually will find sigils in there. And I was like, that's possible, but I do remember my friend saying that the sigils, when he was adding them in there, do kind of just sound like wild stuff. So I'm thinking, I don't know how well they could have pulled that off, but the dude was telling me that, I think it was like a show or somebody else's show or a video where they were trying to show how there was actually stuff within their Foo Fighters wavelengths that show sigils.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
In a lot of these audio programs that I use, it's called a piano roll. So on the left side of the screen will be all the keys of the piano, vertical, not horizontal. And then you'll have a path where you can paint in notes or record data into. And yeah, you can draw pictures and things. It doesn't usually turn out that great, but I've seen where people have done that, and you can make sort of symbols that represent the sound.
Yeah. I was like, damn, that's wild. That's pretty fucking crazy. That's another thing too, which sucks. I actually have a program and I have a MIDI controller to make my own fucking music for my show, and I can't even I don't even want to try putting it in this computer.
Asha was actually asking a couple days ago. She's like, "When is Slices of Light Volume 3?"
Oh,
I think 3 come.
You know what it is? I could do it. I could do it, but the thing is, once I plug my mixer into the computer, because I did buy now, I actually bought the mixer that goes along with the Tractor program.
Oh, cool.
So all those recordings are literally done from me trying to use a mixer on the screen with a fucking mouse, dude. Like that was fucking hard as fuck to try to make a lot of transitions that didn't, to actually blend in that sound. Fucked up, and eventually I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go out and buy the mixer, and like it fucks up and slows up the fucking computer and screws up. And I'm like, fuck. So I have thought about trying to do a new one just without the mixer, but I need another computer. But like, yeah, I even have I don't know, Storm Drum. So I think that's the name of it. Okay. Storm Drum. I got that. It was a program to use, and I have a MIDI controller to where I can make my own beats and sounds, and even take samples and loop them, so I don't have to worry about the copyright shit.
Sure.
And just to be original, and I'm like, I have all this stuff, and I can't even this computer, like my camera, I can't even. It does 4K. I can't go above 720 with this computer.
Right.
It's like, Jesus Christ. So I think I might buy that one that I sent you. I think I might have to fucking grab that.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, it looks like we lost Lee. Just letting you know.
Oh yeah, he's all the time. He'll be back. Fuck. I was gonna ask you something, and now I totally forgot. Oh, was there anything else with Elon besides that? Because you only got so far in, and then we kind of went on with that. Was there something else about that rant?
There's so much there.
That rant that you wanted to mention?
There's just so much with Elon it's just. I think, he had that audience with the Pope, and before that he was promoting Dogecoin. I think this person is a character that's been seeded for us to either he's very polarizing, obviously, so you're either cheering him or booing his every decision. And I personally like to step back and just sort of observe what's going on, and then point out that it doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't seem authentic. It seems manufactured.
That's the best way I think you could say it. It just seems it's not authentic. It seems manufactured. It just like this was something I was going to get back to when Sean was talking, but I forgot and went off with something else. It's not. I don't think it's authentic, and I think timing, even the timing of a lot of these things, to me, is what seems to make it unauthentic to me. Because like, you had kind of Trump for how many years was going to be the savior.
Right.
Now he lost. He's not the president, and then who came up? Elon Musk, a little bit of Kanye, not really, but kind of. So now all of a sudden you're getting other figures that are coming up, and now Trump's coming back. And I'm just like, yo, is it like, did we put these people to get, I guess the conspiracy group or part of the right, all stuck on a savior mentality, like, all right, Trump didn't win, we can't use him right now, let's jump to these other people, put them up. It just seems very like orchestrated for idolizing. Honestly.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. It's pull the card out of the deck, everyone look at the card, and then put it back in the deck. And even the Kanye stuff, I question how much of that is actually genuine or manipulated based on the timing of everything. I really don't buy into it. And you go back to Kardashian with going back to the OJ trial. They have their players that they dust off and throw out in front of us. But I at this point, I hardly believe anything I see on television anymore, or media. It's all manufactured, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely.
For sure. It's reality TV, in my opinion, in a
Yeah.
way. But I think in ways they will drop in a way. I think stuff to show you that it is. It's just I don't think most people pick it up. Like most people, like I think contradictions are to show you that there's lies within the story, but then people don't want to believe it or they just don't hear it. You know?
Yeah.
And when it comes to Kanye, and I want to ask both of you this, what is your opinion? Like, do you think he MK Ultra? He's into ceremonial magic himself. He's just crazy. What is your opinion?
That's a good question.
And you know what?
I'll let you go first, mate.
Real quick. I know nobody's called in yet, but if somebody wants to call in and give their opinion of Elon Musk or Kanye West, what your take is on them, there is a live call-in thing in the bottom on the screen, and there I did post the number inside Element. So, if you want to call in and give a quick opinion on that, go for it. So Lee or Psyop, one of these go.
I think Kanye is sort of a as far as beat making goes, he's very gifted. His music's very good, but I wonder, say that was some other rapper that went off on some rant, would it even make the news? You know what I mean? I think I think what he does fits an agenda, or he's fed things to get a certain response out of him. That way it can be a media sensation. That's how I analyze it personally.
Like controlled opposition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You fucking nailed that, dude. Because I'm thinking like,
Nice
all right,
one, mate.
I have not heard like no DEF CON stuff come out of other people's mouths, but you can if they're going around at the time, because it's just a thing that's getting likes. There will be plenty of times on Instagram where you will see people posting other people from the hip hop or rap industry saying that shit is fucked up, and that is just all over the place. Like, oh, this dude's dropping truth, but you don't see it on the TV.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But you'll see it all over Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, like, is these things that, like how, it is just one used to, like, really sensationalize,
Well, if I came to you and I was like, hey, did you hear what General Lee said about you, and get you all wound up, then you're going to be on 10 going at General Lee. I think I think it's all manipulated at this point.
Yeah. I had even wondered, I was like, what if all these contracts that he lost was like supposed to end anyway, or he wanted to cut them off? I'm like, if you were to go look up how much he made, I think in 1 year with Adidas on his shoes, that motherfucker doesn't need to work anymore.
Right.
Like, fuck Adidas. I'm done. I'm good till I die with money. Like, does it really matter anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be that
go
deep,
with
but
all
like,
these
does it really matter? He's
It's
fucking
I'm not
loaded.
into his shoes anyway, me. I don't like them.
he's I mean, he's a Chicago rapper, so I'm partial to like the guy's music and
I
you know,
think
kind of want to root for him, but yeah, with what I see going on, it's just like this is just media sensation stuff. Or
Yeah.
is it the old thing where, hey, there's no bad publicity? You know, it could be that as well.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not into that music at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it sounds all right, but particularly not his kind of music. It's doesn't do nothing for me whatsoever.
So real quick, I gotta,
You know,
I gotta run to the bathroom real
for
quick.
me,
Real quick, if you guys don't mind, just hold down the conversation for 30 seconds. I'm sorry.
no problem, mate.
Okay. So what's the trending news story over in England there, Lee? What's the big media news
Fucking hell, mate.
stories?
You know, I don't. I'm not into politics whatsoever.
That's fair.
I
That's
think
fair.
it's fucked up. This lot over here, it's like, to me, they're all fucking backwards. And that I'm just being honest with you. It's like a fucking carnival.
Sure.
But I don't get involved with it whatsoever. There's nothing for me.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, yeah, you've only got to see, like, I tell you what, right? I best not carry on because I just end up being racist or called racist, and I'm not. But it's all fucked, mate. Royally fucked.
Well, I mean, you know what, and you know what I think is probably a good way to explain what you're trying to get at, even though I didn't hear what you were saying. I do think back in the day, I don't know how old you are, Synthetic, but just from looking at you, I'm assuming you're probably close to 10 years younger than me. But
I'm 37.
oh, okay, all right. Well, you know what? With the type of music I think I know that you listen to, you could easily go back and say back in like the 90s or a little bit later, that was the stuff that was horrible, evil, was rotting kids' brains. It's satanic. It's horrible. I really feel like that has switched over to hip hop and rap now.
Oh, totally. They're the rock stars. You know, in the 90s, it was almost like that was the worst part of society, which was Marilyn Manson, Gigi Allen. You can name
Holy fuck.
anyone in music that was like the worst thing going on in the world. In America in those days, it's I wish those were the only problems we had was, you know, a musician, honestly.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, can we go back to the days where, like,
over here
for
in
Oz-
the 90s was the best music ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. I still listen
I
to
mean, we had all
music.
like you know New York, don't you, mate? We had all like the dance stuff from fucking Chicago House and all that, and Italian House, all the early stuff.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
definitely
get
like
any
it.
better than that. My opinion.
Yeah,
anyway.
I was big into like the industrial music coming out of Chicago, Ministry and
mate,
stuff like that.
Oh, Ministry, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Chet Pettibone and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was that Ministry that had Dark Side of the Spoon?
Yes. Yes.
I was like, yo, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
we had all
dark.
that over it.
Very dark.
Yeah, but when you shit faced, it's good. You know.
Oh, you know, the one thing I wanted to, and what I had brought up with Kanye, and I guess maybe this is just like kind of a theory that I have, and I think it might be from, because I have watched that Netflix. I don't know if it's still out, but he has there was like a Netflix documentary with him. Now, that in itself, I thought, I mean, it seemed questionable because this guy is showing you kind of from when he started making beats to becoming a rapper.
Sure.
And they were like, there was like him and a couple of dudes that like either they truly believed that this dude was gonna be huge, and really thought that this was gonna be a documentary that everybody was gonna love. Fucking 20 years later, you know, unless they, for really deep down in their heart, believe that. Or I'm just like, this is kind of funny. Like, why are we seeing all this footage from 20 years ago? Like, did you know what I'm getting at? Like, did you really
Absolutely.
think he was actually going to be the person he is now, that somebody would even want to watch this? So I even found that weird, in itself. But, from watching that series, I don't know why, but I got this idea that I had wondered if his mom was his handler in a sense.
Hey, good shout, mate. Good shout.
Possible. I know
You
that
never see his father. He only brings him up here and there. I don't think his father was on the show at all.
if you're talking about how musicians are manufactured, if you look at a band like the Beatles, well, the American equivalent of the Beatles was the Monkees, and that was completely put together by the record labels, and they actually sold more records than the Beatles. So I think anyone
Did
who's
they?
like a mainstream success in music,
Wow.
yeah.
I used to love that show as a kid.
I remember the Monkeys on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did mate as well.
Hey, it's the monkey. I used to love that shit as a kid.
The Monkeys, yeah.
Wow.
I think it's all just kind of manufactured.
Oh yeah,
in
those are
order
like the
to
original
sway
boy
public
bands.
opinion.
Those are the boy bands
Yeah,
back
exactly.
then. No,
And
is
then New Kids on the Block, and on and on and on. It just repeats.
Yeah.
now is it true? You would probably know this better. I've kind of heard that about the Clash, that they were kind of like put together.
Oh, I don't know.
Clash.
Yeah.
The Clash, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is, but supposedly I have heard that, like some of them may have known each other, but it was kind of like they were put together. And I think like, oh, you guys are gonna just become
Hey,
a
mate.
band.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm not a huge Clash fan. I know.
Yeah, I
Joe
like
Strummer's
2 or
name,
3
but
albums,
I
and
don't know
that's
much more than that. But it's. I guess you could say it's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. But yeah,
I like Arctic Monkeys. I've done for years, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If like they're all in that boat, so to speak.
Possibly.
now do you think the Beatles themselves could have been a synthetic psyop? Or a psyop?
That's a good question. There's
It's a
so
good
many
question, Matt.
little conspiracy theories around the Beatles, and it's a little much. I'm not a big Beatles fan, but it's a bit much for me. But so many from Paul McCartney was killed and replaced with some other guy, and
Yeah.
references on their album covers to. You covered it actually. I think in the other one, I think it was the Help album.
Yeah.
There's thousands of little conspiracy theories and what people think a certain thing means. I mean, it's all very possible. I just don't follow that too deep to say yes or no either way.
Yeah. It's just very interesting. I think I used it. Probably people couldn't tell what it was, but because it was a very short clip. But like I even used it in one of the Scarlet Whore episodes. I think it was like the episode 3 when I was kind of like showing people idolizing people. One of the
Right.
black and white videos where it showed like people running into this gate and the people trying to stop them was like fucking women running after the Beatles, showing up the place somewhere. It's just
Right.
like, yo, do you see like how humans like what they're doing right now just because of your presence? Like that's just very weird, in a sense.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, it is a little weird.
There seems to also something I've noticed just on social media. It seems like there's a real push for like K-pop artists, like Korean pop. I see everywhere. I wonder why, because that's not that. What would pick that up in my algorithm to, that I would see that everywhere? I don't really know, but I see K-pop stuff all the time, and it seems like that's being pushed stateside here in America for some reason, which I don't really understand why.
Is it shitty music?
I mean, I don't speak Korean, and it's pop music. I mean, it wouldn't be what I would look to put on,
Oh, who's that band? Fuck that. It's some Asian band that I think they might have played at New Year's here. I can't remember. I don't know. It's some Asian band that's like getting big over here, and I'm like, yo, this music is fucking horrible. and like the thing is that I guess from like, I mean, I would hope anybody with just a regular ear in general could notice it, but maybe because like I do fuck with some stuff, it's like, yo, those voices have been ran through so much shit. Like that's the only way it sounds good right now.
Right.
Yeah, BTS. I'm like, how the fuck, like, how is this okay? Like getting popular over here?
I've never heard of it.
Oh,
BTS. It's a boy band.
Yeah,
I've seen. Yeah, exactly. Why is that popping in this, algorithm feed for me, like someone in their late 30s? I don't understand.
Well, I have often thought if it kind of gives credit, and I've spoken about this with somebody else, and I think even Teresa. Over there, I feel like technology and making things look very fantasy-like with technology. Right. Billboard shits in their faces all the time. They do it in their videos and stuff. Is it just more of kind of trying to push the whole fake technology look and fantasy? Are they already indoctrinated in that over there, and it's getting brought in over here?
That's a good point. I mean, there's definitely a lot of that fantasy stuff too. Everyone's doing cosplay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, stuff
Comic-Con.
like that.
It's everybody's kind of in their own little fantasy world, and I look back to times in the past when people could kind of revert into a fantasy world. Is when the economies are dying and things are not going well. I think it's just our turn in this country, at least.
I mean, there's like certain places where you could be walking down the block over in another Asian country, and I mean, seeing billboards of like cartooned animation with a girl wearing fucking cat ears. With that, what I'm saying, is just not uncommon. Yeah. But it's not real; it's fake. You know what I'm saying? I don't know; it's hard to explain. But I have wondered if that's like kind of just getting people used to that whole visual and thinking, being mesmerized by technology.
There does seem to be a push for that type of media, though. It seems like whether it's K-pop or Pokemon became really big in America, or it seems like that type of media culture is slowly seeding into our world for some reason. I was a film geek growing up, and you'd have to kind of go out of your way to see like any good like Japanese films or Korean films. It was actual like work. You have to order these DVDs from across the world. So, but it's just sort of seeded into our culture now. It's very strange.
Yeah, I remember going back when I was, again, fucking a long time, almost probably 30 years now, maybe late 20s. Probably when I was around 16, 17, or 18, out in Long Island, they would have, it was called the Icon or whatever, and they'd have it in Stony Brook, and it would be for like 3 days. And like, that was like the only way for like some people to go and see like, or pick up like certain type of like, stuff from Japan or,
right.
China, like film work or, Japanimation and stuff like that. That was like the only way you were really going to really fucking view or be able to buy any of that. And then within a few years, it was just everywhere. But like, I know what you're getting at. It was just like,
there was a specialty store. You probably remember Laser Discs. There's a place that's in the suburbs called Downers Grove, and there was a store called QED Laser, and they sold like laser. It was a laser disc store, but you could go there and get weird anime or just whatever movie you were looking for. That was a good place to find it. But now that's, with the advent of the internet and stuff, it's just permeated our culture.
Oh, and real quick, just thinking about how stuff gets over here. I know I think we've mentioned it before, and I just like breaking it up at just random times. James Watkins. He was the first person to bring Japanese porn over into the United States.
That's a very good point, actually, yeah.
Father of Ron Watkins and associated with QAnon and all that shit.
QAnon, and is it 4chan?
Oh, 8chan. That's 8chan, right.
I'm sorry.
That's right. The guy who owned 8chan, who was bringing in Japanese porn, child pornography was also legal. Or the age of consent for like Japanese porn at the time when he was bringing in the United States was only like 12 or 14.
That's so creepy.
So that was coming over with the Japanese porn. And then he even has Jim as a bad man site on his own site with child pornography. This is the guy who owns 8chan, and QAnon has no idea.
Yeah.
And they're posting on this dude's site, clueless to the person who the person is at the site that they're on.
I think QAnon served the purpose it was supposed to, like we've been talking about, where get the conservatives or right wing to look to someone as a savior. And I never paid too much close attention to QAnon. It was just kind of silly to me. But is all that stuff going to return now with Trump being back on Twitter? With just loop-de-loop, we keep going in circles.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I had wondered about that. I was like, since he's starting to run again, or drop's gonna start happening again.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh man. I'd be like, let the shit show begin.
No one's coming to save you. There is no savior, and I'm really only interested in having a very secular society. But the way we're going, it looks like top-down control.
I'll even admit it. What was it last week? Fox News, fucking thing pops up on my phone. I go and check it. Oh, this big thing with we got proof of Joe Biden being involved with Hunter Biden's business deals, this and that. We're gonna be taking it, blah blah blah. Going off on this shit. And I'm like, oh wow. And I'm even like, oh fuck, maybe it's gonna happen. Maybe something's really gonna happen. And like, I start thinking, wait, give it by the end of the day, even maybe a day or two. Unfortunately, as much as we've said the news is bullshit, but unfortunately, I hate to say it, unless it gets off of Fox News and goes somewhere else, it's not going to be considered true.
Exactly.
When all the stations want you to think it, then it's considered true, and then you'll know it's really going to happen. But just like New York Post and Fox News, they love to hand you these nothing burgers.
Yeah, exactly. I think Fox is really just there to reinforce that Republican talking point, and both sides are completely controlled. If this Hunter Biden stuff comes up, obviously he'll just get a pardon. I don't think there's any senators that are really on your side. I think politics is just pro wrestling for dumb people. Personally, I really do.
Yeah. Yo, that's funny. Pro wrestling for dumb people. Oh, fuck. That's so funny. The Q drops. Yeah. That's going to be a fun one if that comes back. And you never got into that, huh?
Never. I just
lucky.
didn't really pay attention to it. I just never, I don't know. I never trusted any of that stuff personally. If you look back to Operation Trust under the Soviet Union, I think it was sort of that, where it's a false resistance, so they can get all the people identified who would be part of said resistance, and then you're marked. I think that's what it was. Let's see who will fall for this, then we know who they are.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think a very good point. Since you didn't get into it much, I mean, was there ever stuff that you did see that may have made you think that there might have been I hate to use the word occultism because but like maybe it's cryptid, or maybe there was more behind what was being said. Did you believe that might be a possibility from what you have seen or do know of?
Anything's possible. I think people just want to believe it. I mean, it could be true, but I think people just want to believe that. But the Q stuff is written in a way where it's almost poetic, telling you to watch the water and stuff about maps. And if I'm not, I guess, smart enough to see what the big message is. I mean, everyone has a theory, but it would be hard to say if there's. I mean, if we're led to believe that. Go ahead. Have
you ever I guess you've probably had experience with magic, right? I mean, you're into that
Sure.
stuff. Okay, all right. I didn't want to put you out there, but I mean, and I think even I don't want to put her on the spot, but somebody who might be listening now, I think maybe she's even told me that she's had this experience. But has there ever been times where you start getting flooded with stuff, And it's like almost like you can't keep up with what you want to put out or write down.
It feels like a download or...
Yes, I have often thought, is that what the Q drops are? Because it's just like I can't even keep up with what's coming in, and I'm just typing the bare minimum to get the point across. So sometimes it almost seems like, to me, that's almost why some of the drops seem so weird and dry and just very blah, because it's somebody who can't even keep up with their thoughts.
It's possible. Man, that's a good point you make there. I haven't really thought of it that way, but that's very possible.
Well, because you know why? Because I know I've done that myself, trying to write shit down. Like sure. I've done it, so that's how I see it. Because I've done shit like that myself.
Yeah, I would agree with that definitely. Speaking of, here's an interesting thing I was thinking about the other day when I was listening to one of your shows about magic and stuff, and people have different theories, schools of thought.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Some of the things I've always, how many times you knock, or the color of the light bulbs, or whatever color stones you use, stuff like that. In my head, does that really matter if you're crafting a ritual for yourself? Wouldn't you want things that are deeply personal to you, not something you found in a dusty old book? Wouldn't you get better results crafting a ritual that's centered around you? Because I believe magic basically exists in your head. It's just my personal 2 cents on magic,
Yo, I love that you fucking said that. And maybe we could talk about this for a little bit and then wrap it up. But I really do think that was a really good what you just said, because that is actually probably something that I have maybe never said, or only mentioned a few times. Even another reason why I left the OTO. They would do rituals there, or they would have their own, like the Book of the Law. They do 3 days of that. Solstices and equinoxes, they'll do stuff for that. Or sometimes if somebody wants to do a ritual that serves a purpose and isn't going to fuck people up, you can, like I actually was trying to do an invocation to Hathor, and I was actually going to write it out and present it to the Lodge Master. And then the Lodge Master would give it to one of the bishops, and they'd make sure that, like, this, first off, it even makes sense, and that, like, the way it ends, they know nobody's getting fucked up or anything. Then they'll say, yeah, we could do this and set a date, as long as you can get all the participants that you need to be willing to do it with you. So you could even, do your own ritual if you want to, and want to go through all that. Where was I going with? Oh, the problem that I had started to notice, especially when I started thinking or realizing that I thought magic was much more of a personal thing. It wasn't so much about the outside. It was really going inside to change the outside, really. Once I started to grasp that idea, I started realizing that everybody, for the most part, whenever I watched these rituals be done, it was verbatim to anything Crowley has ever said that he did. Like, if he went around and banished the corners and he happens to drop that in a book, that is how they said it. If he happened to do this, that is how they say it. There was no, until... there were some good people there. When it came time to maybe invocations, they might add a little bit of themselves in there. But for the most part, they're pulling something from Crowley again. So all I did was watch a bunch of people reenact shit Crowley was doing. Because you did not put any of you in there. There was no actual, like, this is the problem. You need to, in my opinion, you need to have love to make magic happen. Compassion, and there is no fucking love if you're just repeating some other motherfucker's words. You gotta have your heart and your real shit put in there. And there was none of that. And I was like, these motherfuckers are stuck in a loop. They're basically idolizing it, dude, as they fucking do a ritual. I don't know, just to me, I just saw I don't know, it was just very robotic. And I was like, to me, I thought that was wrong. There's something off. I was like, where am I gonna, like, how, magic. This isn't gonna help me watching this. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. If magic is a psychodrama or a play or pageant that you're putting on, like, shouldn't it be deeply personal to you? I've thought of that sometimes when you've brought things up about. I think when we were talking about a wand made of holly wood, and it's like, oh, you got to cut it in one swipe on the right day, and and it's like, does any of that stuff really even matter? Because it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me at all.
You know what? I think a lot of that stuff, that in itself, it kind of is a double-edged sword. I think they also put that out there so people focus so much on that, actually, thinking that that is what made this magical. Or I do think in the beginning, for me, until I think I started realizing maybe why all these things that I'm on my altar, why is it even there? A lot of it, I do think, helps for just the mind to make a connection of, like, what am I trying to do? So it's just you have your intention is just better in your mind. But like I've said time and time again, and I'm sure you've heard me say it, all you have to sit down and do is meditate. And I think you can get the same shit.
I think
you don't need all that shit after some point.
That feeling that you get in meditation or in the ritual chamber or whatever you do, that's very real. Everything around it, I would consider just trappings. The robe, the bath, the light bulbs, the stones, the wand, whatever you have to do to get to that place. But they're just tools to get you in a mindset. Yeah.
It's like all these things that you use of this earth when you want to try to have an experience out of the earth.
Exactly.
Or on this plane. You want to have an experience somewhere else, but yet you're so worried about all these things here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing that you brought up, because I at some point I do think that stuff really, how much is it really needed? You know?
Exactly.
Or is some of it, I think I've even heard, have you ever heard of Josephine McCarthy?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't really know who that is.
Yeah, she has, I think it's called Quarry or something to that effect. She has like this online, I'm not promoting it, but she has like this online ceremonial magic course that's like free. And I think she even says it's going to take you like from 15 to 20 years to do it. Like legit says, like, this isn't like, you're not doing this for a few months and you know, you're good to go. This is a lifetime decision, basically. But she very much kind of gets away from she makes it very personal and does seem to kind of steer you away from like needing all that fancy shit, you know, and does kind of go into, she even says, and I think she nails it too, and I think this is part of why I might think I need all this fancy shit, because it also could depend on what type of magic or what order you're in.
Sure.
She says that, you know, a lot of magic, consider magic a light bulb. When you go to the Golden Dawn, you're getting that light bulb with now the shade on it. That's their version of magic. When you go to the OTO, their shade is different. You go somewhere else, their shade is different. She says, you're not actually truly going to the source. You're just going to their version of magic they're willing to let you know about.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. I was like, yes. But she is another one that goes on about, it's much more personal, and it's like not all this, I don't need all this money to go out and buy all these fucking trinkets and all these things to you know?
It's good if you're running a business, I guess.
Yeah.
People are going to need, you know, abermelon oil or wands or stones or whatever you put on your altar.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I've bought the abermelon oil. I tried making it myself, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'll just buy somebody else's." Yeah. Did you ever make that shit?
No, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen the ingredients and such, and
yeah,
not my thing. I'm not a huge proponent of Crowley, but it's fascinating. Another polarizing figure. I guess that's been the common thread of today's talk, is polarizing figures, whether that's Elon or Crowley or
right.
Kanye West. That's very polarizing in schools of magic and schools of thought, I guess.
Now what do you? We were talking before about things kind of, I guess, maybe going with, not staged, but going along with the script. You ever
Sure.
think Crowley might have been that in a sense too?
That's a good point. Maybe. I mean, where was his starting point? That would be what, John Dee's work, maybe. You
Well,
know,
I think
there
that's
was-
kind of like when he really started getting like deep into shit.
Probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's so much that's been written about Crowley. I honestly wonder what's true. You know, that Secret Agent 666, was he really that involved with World War II? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, I think sometimes the legend gets bigger than the man sometimes.
No, I've often wondered like how authentic, or even some of like, you know, when people want to tell you like what was being said in the news about the guy, or how the guy was like kind of like posted as a villain. Sometimes I wonder like, was that kind of done just as so people paid attention to that, or I don't know. I've just often wondered like how real the stories, and not denying that he was that he was fucked up. I'm sure he could have been a fucked up person, but just when shit hit the media of whatever they had back then, was it just another
Right.
story? Then, you know what I'm saying? Was it a little over dramatized to make
I
it?
think one of the best documents of his life that I'm aware of is Ramsey's, what is it, Prophet of Evil, I believe. Is that
It's
that was, I think, one of my
something the Beast, maybe.
I know there's a couple Ramsey ones, but I want to say it's Prophet or Architect of Evil. It's a movie or a documentary that he did. I remember buying it on Amazon years ago. But
Yeah. It just even some of his stories though just seem very. I almost wondered it's like they even are cult stories in a sense. You know?
it absolutely could be.
Yeah, because like if he's the one telling the story, you have to wonder. He's like, you know, like his stories of like what happened, like, you know, with his cat, or his stories of mountain climbing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like things like that sound fucked up and horrific. Is he telling you something else and just thinking people won't take it that way because they'll think it's just fucked up and I'm retarded? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a decent mountain climber.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
if
for
you're-
sure, for
If you're
sure.
gonna tell a story about yourself, you're gonna paint yourself in the best light that you can, obviously.
Or even like the people dying. Like, did they really die? Is that part of his story? You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Yeah,
who knows?
very well could be.
You
Yeah.
never know. All right, so I guess we'll probably wrap it up there. That was our first time doing this. Yeah, I'll try it again. I mean, I would like to try to get more people to jump on, but I mean, even if it's just Eric and one or two other people, I'll be happy to keep jumping on because oops,
Sure.
I fucked up. I said
This
your
was
name.
fun.
I'll edit that out after I drop it. Fuck. But yeah,
No big
I'll
deal.
keep it going, even if it's just something that we can get like a round table going and just talk about a few topics. I have no problem doing it and still offering it up to the Element people. And yes, if you do not have Element, check out the links in the bottom. There is a link in there so you can join our Element server. When I do this show, I will be dropping the link. And if you are in the Element server, you have the option to come on. And if you don't want to come on, I will give the option of call-ins. This is the first time. So none of that really happened. But going forward, I will try it again. Hopefully we can get some more people on. But if not, as long as we have a good talk, I'm going to keep going anyway. I thought that was fun. I thought that was interesting. And I really appreciate you hanging out the whole time, bro. You know,
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, people are shy. People don't want to be the first to do
Oh,
anything.
yeah,
so.
of course. Yeah.
You
No,
know how it is.
It's hard to get in front of a camera and actually just expose yourself to people. So, I mean,
I had no notes today. This is the first time I didn't have stuff prepared, so it was like uncharted territory for me. But it was
but it
fun.
was a good talk. I thought some
Yeah.
interesting stuff. Lee did have to go to the bathroom. I guess maybe he
fell in.
He fell in. Yeah, he fell in, and someone flushed the toilet bowl. So he's not coming back. Check the notes. He's Subconscious Realms. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you all know who he is. And Synthetic, would you like to maybe mention your BitChute again and whatever?
Yeah, my username on BitChute is just synthetic_Psyop, where you can find me and interact with me and the other fans of NY Patriot, Occult Rejects, and many other shows at the Element server. Join in on conversation.
Exactly.
Everyone's posting research or their thoughts. There's a really good community there. You're more than welcome to join us. Join the server. Introduce yourself in the general chat, and lots of interesting conversation there.
For sure. And then, that was actually kind of a reason why I asked Sean to come on, and there are other people I could reach out to. But, even with these Element servers, I guess lives, rejects and friends. I'm going to try to also, I was thinking of trying to get maybe some of the shows that are actually in our Element server as well.
Yeah, Deplorable Janet.
Coming in and joining us too. And it could just be a round table of all the shows from there as well. There's many different things we could do with this. And
there's a ton of other shows. And then we have RSS feeds. So as soon as the show drops, you can click a link in the Element server and see it. It's very convenient for everyone.
Oh, yeah. No, it's really, they truly did a great job in there, for real. And it's the censorship. It's not a problem. I mean, I think we're all adults, so we're not going to be posting ridiculously fucked up shit. But you can have your own opinion, and we're not going to get shut down.
Exactly. And that's the important thing.
Totally.
Yeah. We don't ban people. It's you'd have to do something pretty bad to get kicked out of the Element server.
Yeah. And I do always like to add, we have people there who really do come from all different walks of life and have all different perspectives, and not everybody agrees on even certain values that people hold very strong and still get along.
Yeah, we're all over the page, which is what kind of makes it fun. You know,
it's just nice
I'm
to
not
see that everybody's
spiritual
cool.
or religious in any way, but other people are the opposite direction. There's plenty of Occult Rejects fans who are fundamentalist Christians, or it's all over the page, and what drives the conversation in a lot of ways. I
mean, look at I was going to mention it before. I mean, look what even Sean had said. He's very much vegan, and he had a problem with somebody, I think, probably on that topic. And I know for a fact there's people in that Element server that think being vegan's fucking retarded. But we all get along. We don't bash each other about that. You know what I'm saying? We just, So people in there do actually...
There's a few that have debated that, yeah.
Yeah, but...
I'm sorry.
No, it's quite all right. But what I'm getting at is that, and everybody still pretty much acts like an adult. So I
absolutely.
I definitely think it's worth checking out. And mentioned it before. If you're not like, oh, I got to download another fucking app and they're going to be the only thing on there that I use it for, it's still web-based. So I don't know if you can do it from the phone. I know you can do it from the computer, but you don't even need another app. You can do it from the web. So there's no excuse.
There is a mobile app for Android and iPhone. It'll work on a tablet as well. There's an app you can download if you so. That's what I use. I use the app on my phone, and then I use the app on my computer. But you can also just run it in a browser if you want. It's pretty it's product agnostic, basically. You can run it on anything.
Yeah, I like that, product agnostic. So no excuse. Go check out that Element server. You'll have excuses. You'll have a way to jump on the show if you want every once in a while and say what's up. So we'll have some benefits. So go check it out. There's a lot of cool people in there. And the links to everything else is in the bottom. And that's the end of this one. And until then, everybody be well. Later.